Hi guys, it's Rick Shiels down here at Quest Golf Academy here at Prairie Sports Village. I'm going to test out and review the new Vertical Groove driver from the guys at Vertical Groove Golf. It's a brand new driver that's just hit the market, and give them credit where credit's due. I met them up in Orlando and they gave me this driver and said, go for it, give it a test, we back it. I thought, okay, well, let's give it a ride. Let's see what it does. There's new technology in this driver that they're claiming gets you to hit the ball straighter. And not just a little bit straighter, they're claiming 40% straighter, and also hitting it longer and also giving you more confidence. Let's see if that's the case. I'm going to hit it on GC2 and HMT with real Pro V1s as I normally do my testing, and talk about this driver in a little bit more detail. As I remove the head cover, which by the way, the head cover is very cool. It's got the black and green on it, and it's got these little see-through windows in the head cover, so you can actually see the driver technology through the head cover, which I've never seen before, and it's got a proper sock. So already bonus points for the proper sock head cover instead of the boxing glove head cover. And underneath, it strikes us that we have got a very different looking driver. Very different indeed. Very much black, green, white detailing all across the head. The first thing that stands out are these vertical grooves on the driver face. So grooves that are going downwards all the way across. And that's never been done in a driver before, certainly not that I know of. Typically, drivers have horizontal grooves, but a lot of drivers nearer the sweet spot don't have any grooves. And I'm not sure how much of a groove affects the golf shot when it's hit with a driver, because the contact time between ball and face is so minimal. What can a groove actually do? You know, how much can it affect the spin of the golf ball or the straightness of it? One of the things that they're saying, and this is something I definitely want to look through straight away, is it reduces side spin. Let's be honest, the thing that reduces side spin is a straighter path and a straighter face and a straight centered strike. Not vertical grooves, in my opinion. But I am ready to be proven wrong potentially. So we've got vertical grooves on the driver, black bottom with the green detailing across the toe and the heel, and then just the groove in the middle of the head. And there is a weight at the back of this head, which I'm not actually sure how heavy it is, but I'm presuming that's helping bring that center of gravity back. On the top of the crown, from toe to heel, we have this big swooping white border, and then right on the top of the crown are these hexagon-shaped dimples all across the head. Now this is a bit like the dimple of a golf ball. It's supposed to reduce airflow across the head, and dimples on golf balls are incredibly successful, as you know. So it's interesting to see some dimple design on top of a driver head as well. On the middle section of those dimples, they've bordered the hexagon with these little green bordered lines and then a green arrow at the top, which makes it very clear where the center of the club is. Makes it very clear indeed. Hit there. That's pretty much what it's saying on the head. Now, initially, I thought this head was a lot smaller than what it actually is. If I was to guess, I would have thought it was 430cc. I didn't think it was 460, but it's actually 450cc. So it's just a little bit smaller than conventional driver heads. Maybe a benefit of that is you might pick up a little bit more club head speed with it being slightly smaller. The downfall of that is it might not be quite as forgiving because you've not got quite as big a head. But we're only talking 10cc, so it's hardly anything at all. I've got this in an Aldila NV 65 gram extra stiff shaft, which comes as standard in this driver, I believe, and then just a normal Tour Velvet grip on here as well. I've got this in 9.5. This is not adjustable, this driver. You can't do anything with it. You can't change the weight and you cannot change the neck. So it is literally how it comes. This is the first driver this company have made. And from the outset, when I'm looking at it, it doesn't look like a terribly produced driver. Actually looks like quite a decent produced driver, even though it's a little bit wacky and crazy. And you might have seen some guy, like John Daly's been using this bad boy and saying it's amazing. Just wonder why he's saying that. I'm sure it's not going to take an expert to guess why he may be saying it's amazing. But let me test it. Let me give it a go on GC2 and HMT and see what it can do. When I set it up behind the ball, that's what I cannot get, that it's 450. It definitely looks a lot smaller. The vertical grooves don't really do a great deal when I'm looking down at it, but that green line on top makes it very clear where the straight line is and where I need to be hitting it from. I'm going to hit some normal shots first, see what it does on numbers, and then I'm going to test the theory of whether it's straighter. I'm going to try and slice and hook some. Let's go and hit some normal ones first. Well, there goes the theory of it being straighter straight away. That was a bit of a fadey, horrible one. Felt like a good strike. Maybe slightly high off the face, but that's me that's made that ball go to the right. Nothing to do with whether the driver's going to stop it going to the right. 286 carry, 2,300 spin, launch angle 12.8, and the club head speed was 110. You can just see there from the numbers, quite simply, that ball went right because I kept the face open 3.5 degrees. As simple as that. The driver can't help me do anything regarding that. So let's get some straighter ones out there. It's a better hit. It's a more solid ball flight. Feels good off the head. Doesn't feel like a brand new driver, i.e., you know, normally when a new driver comes to the market, unless they've had unbelievable amounts of money pumped into it, they normally feel a bit horrible. This doesn't. This feels pretty solid off the head. What numbers was I getting there? Some decent numbers there, some good distance. Spin rate was just below 2,000 that time, 1,800, but I got enough launch to get that up in the air. Are the vertical grooves going to affect the driver's spin? I just can't see how. That's the thing, I can't see how. I would think that more the centre of gravity placement in this driver is going to affect the spin and the strike on the head more than the vertical grooves. I dare someone to do a count of how many times I say vertical grooves in this driver review. Let's go a few more, trying to hit them nice and solid and straight. It's another little fadey one. Didn't hit that well. That was a Healy horrible strike. For me, performance off the numbers aren't terrible, but that's never going to get me hitting the ball straight. 40% straighter. And I will test that theory against other drivers. 275 carry for 294. Again, if we look at the numbers, why did that shot go right? It's because of the club face. Club face was 3.5 degrees open. I hit the middle of the face, but the face was open, and guess what? The ball knows what the face is doing, not what potentially the grooves are on the face. It's a better hit. Very low ball flight. Super, super straight, that one. But that must have had no spin on it at all. Now that's pretty straight. That's one of the straightest shots I've probably ever seen, but I've hit it nowhere. 264 carry. 1,100 spin. That's ridiculous. Now, strike location was good. Face was good. Path was good. Launch angle was excellent. Why is that dropped out of the sky on spin? Again, I can't think about anything apart from the grooves, but the grooves can't have that much of an effect. No way, I'm not having it. Because that is too low a spin. That ball would have never stayed in the air, and it didn't. It dropped out of the sky like a... Well, I can't think of anything that's... like a pop balloon, maybe. It's probably the simplest way of explaining it. All right, let's go one more, trying to catch it out the middle and high and get a good hit. Okay, that's a better hit. That's one of the nicer shots, where I've hit it high off the face. Has it got me a long distance? Yes, it's done all right. Did it get me the spin numbers and the flight that I wanted? Let's see that time. That's not gone that far offline that time, to be fair. 284 carry, 307, total distance. Spin rate 1,700, that's pretty good. Launch angle 14.5. But look how high I've had to hit that on the face. I've had to hit that super, super high on the face to get that spin up. Almost feels like whatever technology in this driver, whether it's just the centre of gravity placement, whether it's the smaller head, or whether it's the vertical grooves, I don't think this driver spins enough. Not for me. I think a lot of players out there do struggle to get the spin rate down. That spin's a little bit too low for me, even on the good hits. Even on the good hits, that's a fraction on that low side of the spin. I'm going to go one more just to give it a good chance of a solid hit. So I'm not... Quite simply, I'm not overwhelmed with this. It's not blowing me away technology-wise. I think it's got some good theories in the driver head. I think it's got some good ideas around what it could be doing, but it's not blowing me away performance-wise. I take it all back. No, that was a good hit. That felt really good off the head. But again, it's not breaking the world. It's not going ridiculously longer, and it's going a bit straighter, but that's down to me. I know when I hit it straighter what I do with the club face, as opposed to what a driver grooves are doing, certainly. 281 carry, 1950 spin. So that, apart from the launch angle being a bit low, it's pretty good. You can see all the strike locations there and the face angle and the path to give you a bit of an idea of how I've actually hit that, to give you the best idea to why has that ball flight potentially happened. You'll always find that it's more direction-wise, it's always the Indian, not the arrow. Always. I'm hitting that offline, I'm changing the club face. What effect those grooves have on the overall performance will be so tiny, tiny, tiny minimal that it could never claim to be 40% improvement on direction. Never. That is way too big a bold a statement. And to prove that, I'm going to try and slice it. I'm going to hit some slice out there. Before I just do that, I've just hit 7 shots there. And let me just look at the average of the 7 numbers. They're the 7 shots I've just hit. We've got a 279 carry distance, an 1800 spin, 160 ball speed, 12-degree launch angle. The side, see that side spin? They're low. They're pretty low, 467, but that's me, and my path is not too extreme anymore, so I can not spin the ball on a tilt too much. You've got to remember, side spin doesn't really exist. All that happens, a ball spins on an axis to the right and to the left, depending on what the face and path have done. So to claim whether it's changed side spin that much, so little, and drivers don't have, unless you're really getting it bending right or left, don't have that much side spin on anyway, or side tilt. So let's test that theory. I saw a video online and the guy was trying to hook it and he couldn't with this driver. He couldn't hook it. Want to see a hook? I'm going to hook it. I'm going to hook this driver. The unhookable driver, he was saying. Let's see if this can hook, the vertical driver. Guess what? I can hook it. Let's see how far offline that was. Big hook, but let's see why it hooked. It wasn't the club that hooked it, it was the performance, it was me. That was 43 yards offline, that is a hook. But let's see why. 1400 spin, hardly any launch angle. It's hooked because my path is so extreme, my face is closed. That's why it's hooked. Let's see if it slices. Now, slice for me is not easy to do, but I'll give it a whirl. Again, you've got to remember these, there's so minimal the effect on it. As a driver performance, the feel, I'm pretty impressed. I like the feel of the driver and I like the inventiveness of creating a story around the driver. It's a good marketing tool. Let's see if I can slice this bad boy. There you go. Is it going to fix the slice and hook? No. Because it's not a miracle worker. It can't create things like that. Is it going to get you hitting the ball 40% straighter? No. Is it a good driver? Yeah, it's not bad. 54 yards offline. Why did it slice? Let's have a look. I'm guessing because I cut across it and my face was open. There you go. Swing path 6.4 degrees out. Face was 10.5 degrees open. That's why it sliced. So when you're ever looking at a driver like this and there's claims about straightness, don't believe it. Do not believe that a driver can hit the ball straighter. There's drivers out there that can be more forgiving, potentially, because the centre of gravity is in different spots. But grooves on a driver, there is such a minimal interaction. And I always think, if grooves are going that way, does that not get the interaction changing this way more? Does that not make that side action happen more, potentially? But if it did, I would imagine those vertical drivers doing that more than helping you reduce the off-centered hits. As always though, test this driver yourself. I know they're hard to get hold of and there's not many demos around, but give this driver a whirl because I do like some of the components to it. I like the look of the head. It's a bit garish and it's a bit out there, but I do actually like the design. I love the feel of it. It feels like a very solid driver, and certainly a driver that's come out first in the market from this company. It feels really like it's been established for a long time. It feels off the head like some of the top brands in the world. I'm getting very mixed results with that. I'm not getting the performance that I want from it at all, but that doesn't mean that someone around the world doesn't get the performance out of it. But please, please make sure you don't massively think about this idea that a driver can make you hit the ball 40% straighter, because it cannot. So guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. If you have, click subscribe, the big red button down here in the corner. If you're new to my channel, if you hit that, you won't miss a single video that I bring out, and I normally bring out daily. Comment below what do you think about the new vertical groove driver. Gimmick, or do you think it's got some legs in it? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, like the video, let us know you love it. And we'll see you next time, testing some more products. And I'm going to test this potentially against the Callaway Epic. Let's see what it does against one of the big boys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.